last week on Gleeboot, it was the end of the Glee Club, but yet not the end of the show. And then they sang Don't Stop Believing for the 15th time, and Mr. Shu looked like he died. And we basically said goodbye to the entire season 4 newbie cast. But like the show's still happening, but Tina's not there. And I guess that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Gleeboot.
Yeah.
You missed the end. That was not the end.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, my favorite song for this week is also going to be Total Eclipse the Heart. It did not happen this week, but you know what? I'm going to go with it. Also, I just got to tell the listeners that today is going to be really rough. I was texting Cullen and Alyssa, and I was forgetting the episode as it was happening to me. So I don't remember anything that happened.
Listen, I legit forgot to watch it last night and like the entire weekend. So I watched it while I was working, which means I didn't watch it. I listened to it.
Perfect.
So that's what I'm going on.
Honestly, you might have a better chance of remembering it than I did.
Yeah, you missed the fact that until Mercedes showed up, the only diversity in the show were the background dancers, because this is probably the whitest episode of Glee.
And somehow more fairy tale like than when we first talked about how them going to New York looked like such a fairy tale.
I agree with that. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. But anyway.
So welcome back to Gleeboot. Yeah, we haven't done that yet. Yeah, welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee one episode at a time. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
I'm Hannah.
And today we have a very special guest, former coworker of mine, Hollywood writer, Gabriela Varley.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome.
It's nice to be here.
Yes, we've mentioned and thrown it out there a few times of we should have Gabby on the podcast. And so I was like, it's time. The most bewildering episode where they're rebooting the show halfway through a season.
And almost near the end of the show.
What? This is not bisect season 5, does it?
No, we're over halfway through season 5.
What is this, 3/4 or something?
Yeah, we're we're near the end of the season. It's bananas.
That's a weird place to do this. Real weird.
I'm very thankful that this is. Oh, sorry, I have a plane.
Oh, that's okay.
We can't hear it, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I am very thankful that this is the episode that I got because it has all people that I know.
Yeah. Season 4 and 5 was kind of touch and go with people who are these people again? Yeah.
Never forget Cassie reading off her tabs. Who is Marley Glee? Who is Ryder Glee?
Who is Ryder Glee Part 2? Yeah, no. This was oddly, I felt kind of nostalgic, but I do have to say this is the weirdest composition of the original characters. I have to get that out there. It's so weird.
Okay,
Rachel and Artie are speaking.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever done that before.
And then make a food together. A really heartwarming one too.
Yeah.
So Gabby, what is your journey with the show Glee?
I didn't watch when it was when it first started and there was all that hype. I didn't watch it right away. I was hanging out with a friend who was who was just wink, wink, just a friend. And she was very much oh, you should watch this show. It's great. And I was like, okay. And we watched an episode on her bed. And then I was like, I must watch this show. And that's how I got into Glee. And she and I are engaged now. So.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Glee. You're bringing people together.
Yeah. Oh, that's
honestly,
so nice.
We could argue that's the best thing Glee's ever done.
Seriously. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I watched it for a while because I did think it was fun. And then around probably where most people fell off, like somewhere around like season 3 is probably where I went away.
Yeah.
And then it completely has left all of my brain until this moment.
Well,
sorry.
So did you take the BuzzFeed quizzes?
I did take those BuzzFeeds, but a couple times too, not just the one.
Oh, nice. You wanted the official answer.
Yes, and I got 3 times very solidly that I am Quinn. So
many Quins.
So many Quins, and just like, I just feel like you're so not a Quinn.
I don't know, maybe.
Did you answer the questions differently every time and you still got Quinn every time?
Well, see, insanity is like doing the same thing. I 100% did the same things with it. Maybe like 1 or 2 questions. I was like, well, what if I was between these two? You know, I didn't do a whole new me, you know, like this time my favorite color is green. I did it the same pretty much, with the exception. But I'm guessing there's like the one core question that always gets you a certain character.
Right. Makes sense.
And who is your Glee boyfriend?
My Glee boyfriend is Blaine.
Oh, okay.
Good one.
Yeah. I mean, we find out.
I don't know. This episode is questionable.
He's a little clingy, but you know what? Things work out, I guess.
I deserve
well.
financial compensation from Ryan Murphy for having to watch this episode. Wow, I am moving in with my boyfriend. Not before, not after. Wow, I am doing it.
During the process. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys are probably way more mature because we're talking about what? A 19-year-old and 18-year-old, right? Just out of high school.
Yeah.
Had a lot of life experience.
Yes. And when we get to talking about the clinginess, I feel like there was a simpler solution that...
Is it breaking up?
No. We'll get there.
They're not broken up. They only move. No. They only live separately now.
Yeah.
But they're not even...
Like a royal couple, yeah.
They're not boyfriends. They're husbands.
They're fiancés.
They got married, didn't they?
No.
No, not
no.
That was the proposal.
Shit. Yes.
That whole thing was the proposal. That was the first.
That was how the season opened.
That was the 400th time that everyone from wherever came back, except for Quinn, right?
Yeah, Quinn only comes back when she's like, I guess I'll do this one.
That was definitely living in my memory as like the wedding.
I mean, it has the extravagance.
It does. Sense. It has wedding vibes. So
I would like to start the podcast by saying that Alyssa is again wearing recreational sports team t-shirt. I love it. I'm so glad.
Thank you. Was I wearing this last week?
One of the week. I don't know. They're all blurring together.
So what are we drinking today?
I am finishing the last Topo Chico seltzer. Hard seltzer.
Cullen and I are drinking the poison that Sue gave to Will.
I was going to say it kind of looks, it's a lava lamp. They're drinking lava lamp.
Yes, we're drinking the lava lamp.
It is Strawberritas. So I like, okay, first of all,
like Budweiser?
Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. That is in September. That is a misnomer. So, but I'm at Panera with Rafa, who, if anyone who's listening doesn't know, is Mexican. And he was like, oh, look at all these flags. That's so cute. And then like, there was like the very sad realization, like the joy of his face faded when he realized he's like, oh, it's for Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, man.
But then that whole conversation made me like, but like, I do want a margarita. So then I went to Ralph's and got this Strawberita. Yeah.
It's delicious.
Budweiser?
No, it came like in a bottle.
Yeah, like a glass bottle. So fancy.
Yeah.
Glass.
They're pretty good. It is pretty good.
What are you drinking, Gabi?
I am drinking a homemade sugar-free sparkling soda in honor of Blaine's Soda Stream.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
That's good.
That's fantastic.
How
Also,
do you
yeah,
make homemade sparkling soda sugar? How do you do it?
Well, in the show, he used a Soda Stream, but I just had some orange juice and some sparkling water, and I just mixed it together. It's not sugar-free at all.
Okay. I was about to be very, very impressed. Dedication. Not that I'm not impressed by the dedication of mixing two drinks together, because that is in fact something that I do a lot, and it does take dedication.
Okay, but I do want to say Strawberryta from Bud Light is still a thing, apparently. I remember someone in my family brought them to like a family picnic and loved them and told everyone like how great they were. And then I was forced to drink one. It was horrible. But I'm glad that what you guys are having is much better.
The Bud Light seltzer water or hard seltzers are actually pretty good. They're flavorful. I mean,
interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on those. I've heard that people are like, Budweiser should just stick to beer. So, but I think everyone's got their own brand of hard seltzers now, and it's like I'm just gonna stick to what I know. I think.
I'm
afraid to spend money.
Try a new one every week.
No, I'm afraid to spend money on stuff that's like not gonna be tasty. You know.
She likes to stick to the status
I want people
quo.
to whoa I like to pop and lock, jam, and whatever break. Trust me, I know my High School Musical. Anyway, we're talking about Glee.
Anyway, okay, so the segment that I always forget to add to our very detailed outline, so it surprises all the guests.
It's perfect. I love that it's a surprise.
Smash, Marry, Kill.
Oh.
This week, the theme is if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
I don't know what that means.
And none of the characters are from Glee. I made the chart and then I realized that.
I'm sorry, Cullen, are you secretly transitioning us into a teen drama podcast right now?
So we have Penelope Featherington from Bridgerton. We have Dan Humphrey from Gossip Girl. And we have Mona Vanderwall from Pretty Little Liars. If you know, you know. If you don't, you know.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
They all have something in common, but to say what it is a spoiler.
Twist in the story, I'm going to guess.
Who is the second person?
Dan Humphrey.
How do I spell that?
Do you have pictures this week?
Yeah.
From who? From where?
From Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl. Oh. Oh, okay. I know who he is.
His name is Penn Badgley, and he was named after the tennis ball.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I used to be a Postmate years and years ago, and one of, like, I think the highest celebrity I delivered to was Chase Crawford from Gossip Girl.
And
oh my God.
He was on a couple episodes ago.
He had his nose pinched by Quinn. You did that. You did that.
Oh, I did that. Wow. I delivered a chicken piccata and I pinched a nose.
Oh, chicken! I love that you still remember the order too.
How could you forget?
That's true. If you deliver to like someone very special, like I remember what they ordered.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the reality show Survivor, and I delivered food to one of the Survivor winners who's kind of like popular. I don't know, like people remember him.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I forget his name right now. He went to Harvard. I forget his name.
I haven't watched Survivor in so long. Honestly, it could be someone I don't even know.
Yeah, but he ordered 5 soft tacos and 5 crunchy tacos and a bunch of mild sauce.
From Taco Bell.
I'm so impressed that you can't remember his name, but you remember his order.
I mean, that's almost like a stranger thing than the person. Who?
His name is Cochran. His last name is Cochran, and that's what he goes by in the show.
Oh, yes. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
I'm
Yes.
considering following Chase Crawford on social media and just commenting on all his pictures. Chicken piccata.
Chicken piccata, pinched nose by Quinn.
Okay, so I love Penelope. I'm gonna marry Penelope. And then I guess I'll have sex with Dan because he's hot, and I'll murder Mona because she's basically insane. Who would like to go next?
I think I would smash this Mona person because I've never seen the show, and you said they're insane. So I think that sounds like a fun time. I'd probably also marry Penelope, and I would definitely kill Dan. He deserves it.
I have the same answer, but for slightly different reasons. I'm going to marry Penelope because she's a gem of a human being. And I feel like I could be a good wife.
Penelope deserves it. She deserves it.
She deserves a good wife. Or, whoever she wants to marry. But I could be that person. And I'm going to smash the other chick whose name I immediately forgot. Mona. Because she's really hot from the picture. But I don't know anything about what she does in the show, and I haven't watched either of the shows of Mona and Dan. Don't know what they do. The picture that you chose for Dan, it looks really evil, so I'm going to kill him.
Well, that actor does go on to play the guy in the show You.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, but we're not talking about the guy from You. We're talking about Dan. What?
Yeah.
He does look evil, though. I mean, was he typecast? Maybe.
Yeah, I have the same answer. I don't know. I don't like Penn Badgley via Gossip Girl. I don't like his outfits, his hair, or his face in that show. I'm looking at stills. I'm like, that's awful. Yeah, Penelope. Okay, so I think I know what the thing is. So now I feel like I'm in the know and I feel really excited. I guessed it because I know who Penelope is. I'm like, oh, it must be that thing then, if it's a spoiler. Didn't know her last name was Featherington. Thought it was Bridgerton because I was half asleep when that show was airing in front of my face. Yeah, Mona Vanderwall, I guess I'm going to smash her.
So, fun fact, I actually went with some of my coworkers to the Bridgerton ball.
Yes.
Oh my
goodness. Was it?
Tell all.
I saw they had costumes on display. I presented myself to the queen. I did not win diamond. I was robbed. I did almost ask the queen, hey, can you free my ancestors? In a couple generations, you're going to organize a famine that's basically an ethnic cleansing. So could you not do that? But I thought it wasn't the time or place. Then I'm like, then I'd have to ask her to free the rest of the empire because it's only fair. And then so.
Poor person playing the queen would be like, what?
Yeah, I know. She'd be like, so I'm like, don't do that. But the Lord or whatever he saw me and he grabbed me and he was like, you'll be good at this dance because there's a woman dressed as a bumblebee who was teaching us this dance that was a simplified version of heads, shoulders, knees, and toes.
How do you get more simple than that though? Please tell me.
You do head, shoulders. Head,
shoulders, head and shoulders, head and shoulders. This is now a commercial for the shampoo.
And then
2 in 1.
They had the dancers dancing. And that was cool, but it was more fun. They showed us to do well, I know from my childhood is basically cotillion dancing, but they added snaps and stuff.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, so that was fun. We got all dressed up and they had photo ops and when they picked the diamond, confetti rained down on her from the ceiling and yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I guess if you're in town, if Bridgerton comes to your town, I mean, check it out.
Oh, it's like a traveling experience?
I think so.
Oh.
I think right now it's in Los Angeles and London.
That's a shame. It should just stay here. I enjoy being in a city where all of the things happen. I think it's a joy. And I think small towns should suck it.
Like, I can do this. You can. Yeah, I mean, it's probably only gonna go to like New York, Chicago, you know.
Chicago, Montreal, LA, and Washington, D.C.
Okay.
That's what this says.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm not going to any of those places.
Yeah, it's probably not allowed in Florida.
No.
They're like, this might bring someone joy. We can't have it here.
You could go to Chicago. It's not that far from where you're planning on going.
True. That's actually what I'm looking at, seeing if it was how long it was gonna be there. 45 a person. That's actually not too bad for like I guess I don't know what the base ticket is.
I mean, you have to pay for drinks too. Because they have the bars there and you have to pay for drinks. But like for me, it was a work event, so I didn't have to pay.
Wow.
Yeah. But I paid for a vest. I got like a prom style, like pink vest and tie and a new shirt.
Yeah. One must consider the outfit as well when you consider the price. It's like $45 for entrance, but like $300 to look your best.
Yes.
Or more, depending on how in depth you want to go.
My mom actually saw the pictures and was like, "Oh, are some of those people the actors from the show?" And I'm like, "No."
Yes. Could you imagine?
Yeah, like they.
You imagine how expensive those tickets would be?
Yeah, I just hang out with Phoebe Denver.
MDD.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Glee. The second episode named after the city of New York. Instead of New York, New York, it is just New York.
I found nothing new about it.
Nothing new.
No.
Nothing harkened back to New, the robot that cleaned up after the Teletubbies. Wasted opportunity.
Digs, man.
So,
wow.
Okay, this was just, so it's like they're decided, so just as we realized, okay, the show would be better if it was just about the high schoolers, they're like, you know what we're going to do? It's only going to be about the grown-ups.
We're shipping the whole production to New York. Not a Glee club in sight.
Yes. This show that is allegedly about a high school Glee club is now about I almost said a bunch of 20-somethings, but I don't think most of them are 20
Teenagers,
yet. Teenagers.
Yeah.
In New York, going to college, but they don't live in dorms.
Okay. I have a very serious question. I mean, I have so many questions. I mean, who's living with who by the end of this? I need that answered. So keep tracking that. I think also, does Rachel still go to NYADA? She had a tour of the show apparently because we jumped 6 months ahead.
I think it was just out of town tryouts, right? Like
she said it was a tour.
Yeah.
Because like a Broadway show, they don't take it on tour before it opens. They take it to another theater. Like remember when we watched Smash and they did the opening in Boston?
That's what I thought too. Because the producer's like, yeah, we had to restage the show. I was like, what? And then later she's talking to people. I don't remember who else is in the scene. And she's like, yeah, thank you for being so nice about like the road tour for the show. And I'm like, so that means you guys opened and then you toured and now you're back and doing it again in New York.
So I think they just don't know how theater works, as we've established.
But she was definitely talking about, the guy,
the
was
producer.
Like, yeah, he was like, thank you for being
a trooper.
Being a trooper and doing all of the shows. So it definitely has opened.
Yeah.
No, but it hasn't, because there's an episode coming up all about opening night.
Oh my God, really?
Then why would they call it a road tour if it was literally just like, we went to Boston? Like,
why would he like congratulate her about doing all of the shows?
Doing her job. doing her job. Also, do they not have a new
Okay, is this
understudy?
did they just? Is this
Guys,
the
guys,
writers?
they just don't
can't.
know what they're talking about. We can't dwell on this forever because you will just go insane.
It's true.
I
So-
have already.
We have to move on.
But something very topical. Funny Girls open again. Funny Girls open on Broadway.
IRL.
IRL. Beanie Feldstein is the lead, and the show received mixed reviews.
Very mixed.
Some of it was maybe we shouldn't do this show anymore because it's very sexist. I would like to harken back to when Katie said, this was before she even guested the sound clip where she said Lea Michele should be arrested for thinking she could be Barbara Streisand. So she really predicted Lea Michele's cancellation. You heard it here first on Gleeboot.
Oh my God. That did predate that.
Yeah.
What does Katie know?
And so there have been a lot of great TikToks about it. One person was like, I love how it's turned people into Lea Michele apologists. They're like, you know what would do Barbara better? An illiterate racist. And then there's also someone was like, this whole thing was organized by Ryan Murphy as a redemption arc for Lea Michele.
Yes.
He's like, what if I save someone everyone hates by destroying someone everyone loves?
The other one that, so I sent you guys, read the headline, sent it to you guys, was like, ha, memes. And then I was like, actually, the memes are kind of mediocre that this article had highlighted. But the one that was kind of funny, it was like, I know that you're really exhausted by all this Lea Michele news, but like, think about her assistant who has to read it to her.
The one that was like, this is dark magic. But then as this is happening, we also get the Spring Awakening doc where Lea Michele talks about using a lamp to explain her private area to Jonathan Groff, her best friend.
Gave him a tour.
And she also said she would carry his child.
Yeah.
Which I just want you to remember that detail for certain things that happen later in the show. So just
Got it.
I feel so like confused at this moment. I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's Jesse St. James, gay IRL, but Lea Michele wants to carry his baby IRL, or is offering. Also, when they were in Spring Awakening together, she gave him a tour of Vagina.
Using a lamp.
I think just to illuminate. I don't think it was like, yeah.
Not demonstrating how it works.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's been I guess it's like a big week in the Glee fandom. Lea Michele has come up a lot.
Darren Criss had a baby a couple weeks ago.
And he's also in a famous homophobe's play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really blame Darren Criss. Like, New York as a whole has like been like, oh yeah, we'll still produce this guy's work. But he did go out on Fox News and call gay people groomers and supporting the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida.
I was going to say, so did Ron DeSantis and basically everyone in the Florida Republican Party. So, but I mean, they're not producing plays on Broadway that I know of. So,
yeah.
We're going to talk about real life events.
Yeah, let's get out of the darkest timeline because that's what we're living in and go to the Glee timeline, which is the second darkest timeline.
I think what you said was Glee 2.0, and that's like the best way to explain it. This is like literally like an update, but not a welcome one.
Yeah, they're like, what if we took a show that for all its problems was kind of known for having a diverse cast and made it a bunch of white men and Lea Michele. And then halfway through the episode, they're like, oh wait, that's a really bad idea. Here's Mercedes.
Not even halfway. That's like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
There's like 20 minutes left in the episode and she shows up.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, like they couldn't bring Tina to New York. They couldn't bring Jenna Ushkowitz. They just were like, no, because like at the end of the day,
She was the one who was most excited about going anyway.
At the end of the day, Tina has contributed as much as Artie to the overall storyline of the show. So why does Artie get to stay, but Tina doesn't?
Because Artie has potentially interesting real life experiences that he's going to go through as being someone who's in a wheelchair in New York, you know, and Tina is not going to provide that, I guess.
Yeah, just based on recent history, I don't think it's very easy to be Asian in New York. So,
I
guess
know.
this was during the Obama administration, so people thought racism was over.
That's honestly true. Yeah, I don't know. And then Artie's story was kind of just like,
yeah. So I guess the storylines are, we have Rachel and Artie. I guess they're like one storyline.
Rardy friendship ship name.
I love how it's taken till 3/4 of the way through season 5 for them to have a storyline together.
Or speak.
And then we have Sam, and then we have the Blurt.
Blurt.
That's basically it. So Rardy. Leah Michelle, Rachel is Funny Girl's gonna open soon. They had to restage the show, which not a good sign.
Right.
Especially for like, it's not like a fantasy musical. Like Funny Girl's pretty grounded.
Yeah.
So that means the staging was just that bad. And he's like, thank you for all your hard work. You don't have to ride the subway anymore. Here's a town car.
Yeah, we know how dirty and gross people are. So we're going to save you from that.
This is how
let's be fair. People are dirty and gross, but everyone has to deal with that.
Yeah.
What did you say, Gabby?
Oh, he just said, this is how I thank my star.
Yeah.
This is how I say thank you. A town car.
I mean,
he didn't even have any place to go.
Yeah, he dropped her off at the park, and I was like, this driver is probably like really weirded out by her.
Like, honestly, I feel like that's a bigger gift in LA because not having to worry about parking. Like, if you're taking the subway, you already don't have to worry about parking.
Yeah.
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 And like there's an actual subway that you can take.
I've taken the subway a few times in LA, but
it doesn't go everywhere.
Yeah, it's like very specific locations. Basically, if I'm going somewhere in Hollywood, I'll go to the Universal Studios station, park my car there, take it in.
Exactly. Like New York, it goes everywhere. It's somewhat convenient. I just have this very scarring memory of going to pick up something for my boss in Beverly Hills and having been told all this stuff about how fancy it was, but given no parking instructions. And like parking somewhere, and someone was like, oh, this is private parking. And I'm like, read the sign. But like there was no sign, but they could just tell I was poor.
Oh my God.
And like, so the whole experience, I'm like, because as I always say, LA really wants you to feel that income inequality. They want you to taste it in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the real smog is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gives her a town car, which is literally like a chariot, like a pretty chariot, like she's a princess.
With a driver. She's not driving around a town car.
Yeah, and this town car is packed full of stuff, apparently.
Yeah.
I think that, is the implication here that, like, she went shopping and there's a bunch of stuff?
I thought it was you had her costumes. You don't take your costumes to the theater, so I don't know.
I just thought it was random junk. It had, like, maybe, like, just stuff.
But why would you give someone a town car that has a bunch of junk in it?
A pre-filled town car.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know. I was so checked out of this episode. It was so boring.
I just assumed
and that was the first sequence.
Yeah, I assumed that she like went shopping before she went to go meet her friends, which
interesting.
Kind of then makes it that much more
Eek.
Yeah, like gross that Artie can't fit in. But well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're
That's
gonna
what
say-
happened.
I would love to say what probably everybody's thinking. That driver was pretty hot, though.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that. Yeah,
Pretty easy on guys.
I didn't see him. I was looking at my work.
that's true. Take our word for it.
Okay. Yeah, he was. He had a good jawline. Like noticeable. Yeah. And like, so they're going. So she's going downtown. She's like, take me downtown, so they can sing downtown.
Mm.
And not
episode.
the Macklemore one. Yeah.
Anyway,
I have never been to New York, and I've been watching a lot of like Pretend It's a City on Netflix. So and then this episode of Glee has just like inundated me with like a sentiment that I must go to the city. I've never been.
yeah, it's so strange. Like, I think this is the first episode where it's both a big fairy tale because, you know, she's made it on Broadway. She's got the town car, takes it wherever she wants to go. Life is great for her. But then there's also like then there's the other people who ride the subway, which are like everyday people. I think it's like the first time that we see like a gritty New York.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, as someone who's been lost in the subway system while having to pee,
Oh no.
it is pretty gritty. Yet now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why didn't I just fucking pee on the subway? Because like everybody
else does it.
Who do I think I am? You think you're better than me?
You're good for these train cars.
Yeah. Yeah, when I think of New York, I think of because I went there once. I saw Frozen on Broadway. I had a bagel, and I don't get the hype. And
Wasn't it Jersey bagels, not New York bagels?
New York bagels are a big thing.
I thought it was like, are they not famous? Like Jersey is famous for bagels? No.
No, they're famous for New York bagels.
I
Something about the
am.
water.
Should
Should we call up our resident New Jerseyite, New
Just like
Jerseyan?
call tea.
Call tea. He'd be like, "What do you want?" Yeah, they're New York bagels. That is a terrible impression, Tia. I'm so sorry. I love you and I miss you.
That's probably why I thought it was New Jersey.
Yeah.
Because T's from New Jersey and he's always
Yeah, yeah.
talking about bagels.
Although actually he might be like, "No, New Jersey has better bagels." So who knows?
Yeah.
To be fair, I have absolutely no desire to go to New York or New Jersey, regardless of where bagels are from.
Yeah.
I did get slightly conned by a Buddhist monk when I was there, who like gave me
Like
something. And
yes,
was like, pay me for it. When someone
That
tried
happened to me in
do that-
Boston.
It happened to me in Boston, but in Boston, they were like trying to get me to sign up, and I was like, oh no, I can't give you money, or give me the shit back. I was like, okay. But here they're like, no, you're giving me money. And I was like, okay, here. Yeah, okay. So they're in New York. They're singing downtown. We see Artie and Sam. We see Blaine and Kurt. And they all meet together. And they're like, you know, we miss Finn, our male white lead. So we decided to make the rest of the cast white males. And they decide they're going to get lunch, I think. And Rachel's like, I'm paying because I'm a Broadway actress. It's not like acting is a really unstable career. And even though I'm making a lot of money right now, I'll need money to sustain me till I get my next job. So
Personal economics, very important to learn in high school.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not because Ron DeSantis has a whole like learn taxes in school thing.
No, I'm being serious, but not because Ron DeSantis.
So Rachel goes. So Sam and Artie don't take the town car. Everyone else does. And then we see Artie's talking about, you know, he loves New York. He loves being on the subway, being among the people. But then a man on crutches steals his backpack.
Because it's on the back of his wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
like he used to do in high school.
and has his laptop in there with his only copy of his script.
I did kind of feel for that because I did kind of panic because that would suck.
No, like that's actually like I was like, no, that's like the first real okay, not the first, but like one of the few real problems that someone's had on this show. Like,
yeah, I was like, oh wow, that really sucks.
That is a real world thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is upset. He goes to Kurt and Rachel's, I guess it's Kurt and Rachel's apartment. I guess those are technically the people living there.
I don't know.
You're joking.
What?
Rachel lives there.
Yeah.
That was her and Kurt's apartment first before everyone just swarmed to New York.
And then Santana was there for a while, but now she's in Lesbos.
We never saw her there. Okay.
Well, so Blaine is making the soda stream. He's making the soda stream. And Artie is complaining about getting robbed and he's upset. And Kurt's trying to be a good friend. And Blaine's just making soda. And then Rachel comes in and she's like, I know moving to New York is so hard. One time I gave a homeless person $10. And when I asked for it back, everyone booed me. And I felt so violated. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't ask someone to give you your money back. Like
that was a Broad City joke. When Broad City was still the web series, one of the original episodes, one of them wants to ask the guy that they just gave money to if they could break the change, and then the other one's like, you can't do that. So
you're saying that they stole it? They plagiarized?
I'm saying they're remarkably similar, and we should check dates.
Like that. The thing is, that's not the first time. Wouldn't be the first time Glee has plagiarized.
Yeah. Is anyone surprised by this?
I mean, no. You know, I wonder if Amy Schumer wrote for Glee.
Deep cut.
So Artie's like, you're like, because then Blaine's like, oh, here's water with lemon, and she's like, are those
Meyer
brand, right? Or,
yeah, like I can't do those. I think there's a plant called a Meyer lemon.
Yes,
I don't think she means like
not brand.
Meyer. The store that's only in like Michigan.
What is that called? Species, like a species of lemon.
Yeah. And then so Artie's like, who are you? You just go run in your limo. And she's like, it's a town car. And like, you're not connected with the world. And like, you don't know what real problems are.
But he's like on the phone with the police, right? And there's like super not helpful. And oh my God, who makes the SVU joke? And I'm like, and then Artie's like, no, I wasn't touched. And I'm like, that is such a bad joke.
It was so bad. I literally blocked it out.
Right
Don't
over
remember.
my head. So.
I didn't know the joke. Because I think he was mugged, and then he said, no, I wasn't mugged because I wasn't touched. I was just robbed.
No, so Kurt, I think it was Kurt. He was like, he has like an SVU situation. He's like, kind of, I wasn't touched, but my bag got stolen. And I was like, why is this the joke?
And then they sang bag alert, major bag alert. And then
that didn't happen.
So he yells at Rachel, which I mean, who doesn't want to? And then so then he's like scared to go on the subway.
Valid, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like if that was the thing that he's scared of, like I wanted to know like what his like first few experiences were like, if people were just like super rude to him and stuff like that. But I mean, this is also awful.
And like remembering thinking of how hard it must be to navigate as someone in a wheelchair.
Yes.
I think back to like when we lived in Boston, like I'm not all those stations were handicap accessible. Like, I think they were all supposed to be, but like sometimes the elevators just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Right. Like the elevators would be out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just thinking about it because I mean, her mom's had hip surgery since then, but she was like in the process. Like I think she had gotten one hip replaced, not the other. Mm-hmm. And like all the stairs she had to take and being like, oh my gosh. Like, and I never really even thought about it because I was just running around Boston. And then you're with someone with some kind of like impediment to just going up and down huge flights of stairs, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the old buildings, like, and what passes for an elevator where you can even like fit probably a wheelchair
Tiny
in
elevator.
there. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this was actually like, it was not the dumbest storyline. I'll give them that. Yeah.
No, it has a lot of merit. Was it done perfectly? No. It could have been better, but I think there's some valid stuff going on for sure.
Yeah. And for once, the person who's condescending to someone is a woman instead of a man. So I guess that's progress. And then
For who though? For who?
for who? True.
Artie makes mention that the sidewalks in New York don't have like little ramps, like ramp cutouts. Is that true? I've never been.
I think some of them do, but I'm sure there are some that don't.
Wow.
That would suck.
Yeah. I mean, even some ramp cutouts, like sometimes because I like at work, I'm like carrying carts from building to building of like office supplies that if you hit it at the wrong angle, like the cart flips over. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Or it's completely damaged.
Yeah. So he's scared to go on the subway, and then Rachel is like in her car and she's like, who am I? Like Fanny Bryce was a working girl, work harder, die trying girl, the Bob's Burgers musical. And then she's like, you know, like her dad was a bartender, and like here I am tucked away from the world in this car. I can't experience things. And then so she stops in Chinatown to get some tea.
And go to an herbalist. I was like, these are real world experiences. You're going to stop in Chinatown. And that's the sum of it. It was really tone deaf.
Yeah, it was. I just like the way she came to this conclusion that she's not having experiences because she's in a car, and what Artie has actually said was that you're a fucking asshole because you don't realize that you're, you know, like
Privileged.
Yeah. It was really not great.
Yeah. Did they even mention like actual privilege?
No.
It was
like,
all sort of like skirted around.
Yeah. I don't think the show Glee ever mentions the word privilege.
Yeah, they just
Ooh.
like, you're just a diva. You're not a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird.
And so then Artie's like looking at the subway nervously, and Rachel comes up to him and is like, hey, like, I know you're nervous, but let's do this together. We're doing this together. And this is actually like, if these characters are allegedly supposed to be friends, like this is actually a nice thing to do. Like, hey, like I know you've had this bad experience. Like, let's help. Like, I'll do this with you. Like, we'll get over it together, you know? And then they get on the subway. They sing Don't Sleep on the Subway, a song I've never heard of, already forgotten, and hope I never hear again.
Yeah, don't remember it. Not gonna lie though, I have to say this is a better choice, because I was like, oh, she's gonna make sure the trunk is clear so that she can take him in the town car. And that was not her choice. So I'm like, okay, good. Okay, there's a little bit of growth here, because that's what I would have expected.
And then they're like, so they're driving, and then, or not driving, they're singing this song in the subway, whatever. And then they have a quintessential, a New York experience, which makes me think of when RuPaul gave me the finger on a New York subway. Yeah, so they see the man who stole Artie's backpack is trying to steal this old lady's purse. And then Artie just goes up and maces him. Like, Roger's like, you got this.
Which is assault. He assaults this man. Like, unless this guy was actively stealing from him, like that's assault. Like he just assaulted him.
I like the
you
way
didn't
they set
have
it up
evidence
was the man
that this guy did it, and it just happened to work out.
I wonder if that's why they didn't show much of it, because it definitely felt like they cut away from any of that action. They kind of minimized that storyline as much as they could. So they were like, oh my God, and then he fixed it. Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah, because they literally cut to them telling the story and everyone's like, oh my God, good for you. And I'm like, He assaulted somebody on the subway.
You can't just mace people.
Also, mace, it'll go places. Like, you also assaulted other people. Like, get ready for a lawsuit, Artie.
I was like, that whole train car is gonna get.
Oh yeah, that train car is out of commission. / they're still making people ride it. It's like mace, and then everyone's like, oh God, what happened?
Yeah, and they're like, turns out he was a hoarder, so everything was just there.
Yeah.
Which is not gonna be, no, that's literally not, like, okay, I don't know a lot about people who steal, but people who steal typically steal out of need because they go and sell stuff because they need money or goods or whatever.
They need or just even want money.
Yeah, so it's like,
the only thing that I can think of that isn't that would be kleptomania.
Yeah.
Which is just stealing because you have like a psychological need to steal, but you don't actually need the value of whatever you're stealing.
Yeah.
But
it's just so fairy tale that it just works out. And I'm like,
in a city with like 80 million people. It's like, oh my God, we saw this guy again.
The peak of coincidence.
Yeah, and he happens to be a hoarder. I'm like, how does he afford the space to be a hoarder? He's not selling what he's stealing.
Great question. Didn't even think about that.
Like, yeah, so that was like too much. Like, I get that you don't want to like punish Artie too much, but like, yeah, that was just so, yeah, just weird.
Convenient.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the only convenient thing in the episode.
No, this is like when we were talking about New York being fairy tale land, this is like
peak.
Yeah, the peak moment where we're in fairy tale land here.
I want Kate Hudson as Cassandra July to come and be like, you don't deserve this laptop, Artie, and break it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be hard on you to make you a better director.
This happens to every director
you're dating.
Oh, well, is that person Kitty? Because that person is underage. But also, is he dating Kitty? Don't even know.
I think
we don't care about
forgotten.
their personal lives. We don't care about their personal.
She's junior, right? She's junior?
I'm pretty sure she was supposed to be a sophomore. So now
either way, she's back at the high school, which is
because
no longer.
If we're 6 months ahead, we're in November. So they're like almost done with the first
half of their
first
junior year.
We skipped 6 months.
Yeah.
Was that like on a title card or something that I missed because I wasn't looking at the TV?
I think they said it.
They may have said it, but now I'm like, was there a title card? I don't remember. No, I think someone said it like really early on.
Okay.
I think it was in the Rachel producer thing.
So wait, so Santana and Brittany are still on vacation after 6 months?
Well, the recap also says like, they're on an extended vacation. So that's like the explanation that like they're going to be in the show, but they're just not here right now.
This is the Santana, Naira Fairley and Michelle are feuding. So we wrote her off for a few episodes.
To give her a mental health break from Leah Michelle.
Oh my.
So that's really the end of Rardy. So she's gonna help him ride the subway as long as he gives her a tongue lashing. Hate that. Each time she gets out of line.
Missed that line.
What's best about this is I am 100% sure they will never reference this arrangement again.
Okay, great. Yeah. Next.
Yeah, next.
This episode sucks. But like in a totally different way. Like the other ones were like boring, but this is boring.
I would rather watch Puppet Master.
Yep. At least there was something interesting happening. And by interesting, I mean bananas.
Blaine insane. Yeah.
I have no idea what Puppet Master is. The Glee that I remember was like fun and colorful and had like slushies being thrown in people's faces and like do 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 like fun like acapella, and none of that happened in this episode. And I was like, is this the same show? We've strayed so far.
No, but really though, the show is so lost. It does not know what it is, what it wants to be like, and having And like you'd think, I guess it's a little more gradual for us because we've watched each episode in order. But
No, it has not been gradual. I feel like I've been slapped in the face.
No, but like it's
every time I watch.
Like it feels, it does just feel like the show is so lost. It doesn't know what it is. And like it is so different from back when they were first singing Keep Holding On. And
This
like Quinn was
episode-
pregnant. Yeah.
Not to like bring up our screenwriting past like at school, but like it reminds me of like an episode we would have written as a group for like our sitcom class or on one of our other classes. Like that's kind of what it feels like. It's like
It does have committee
haphazardly
vibes.
put together. It's like little nuggets of who we think the characters are.
Did you say haphazardly?
I did. It got it from a true crime and paranormal podcast I listened to called And That's Why We Drink. Fellow BU comm alums.
Oh, okay.
Fun
I
fact.
just needed to check because I was like,
Yep.
something bizarre? No, I think haphazardly.
Did I hear that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Haphazardly.
So Sam, I guess, has just been playing coasters and he's playing Roller Coaster Tycoon on Blaine's couch. Basically what I did during the pandemic.
Also did not know Roller Coaster Tycoon was on some sort of console.
I don't think it was.
Mind blown.
I don't think it is though.
It might be like one of like the newer ones.
Yeah.
But he's talking about like an old map.
Yeah.
Millennium Mines
So-
is from the OG. I have to Google it now.
I just
Go ahead.
want to know, like, how, if it is not, who exactly decided that it was? Like, how did they get this in their brain?
I think that they're like, okay, he's playing video games. He has a controller because I guess PC gaming wasn't cool yet. But I think it's because maybe they got like the license for the sound because the sounds are legit. Like that is Roller Coaster Tycoon. So maybe that's how they're like, insert game title here. We got the sounds for Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's not on the console. I don't care.
I want to
That's
see. I
A
want to
little
see
clip from the writer's
No,
room, guys.
It's fine.
I want to see the line item budget of this episode. Like $1,000 Roller Coaster Tycoon sounds. Yeah, so he just hasn't been doing anything, and he came in after a run when Kurt and Blaine were about to make out. So Kurt's like, "I know he's your bestie, but we have no space. We need him out of here." And then so Blaine like brings it up, and Sam's like, "Santana got to stay here." And I'm like, but Santana was paying for a room. But then if Kurt and Blaine are sharing a room, they would theoretically have a third bedroom space.
Yeah, I don't know.
So why don't they just have Sam pay to live there?
Because he doesn't
seems
have any
like-
money. He doesn't even have a job. Also, is anyone working at the diner? Cullen, I'm sorry. I have so many questions because honestly, if they were working at the diner, they could just get Sam a job because that's how they did it with Santana. And it just,
He can sing.
yeah. I mean, he's in the Glee, was in the Glee Club, R.I.P.
Actually, it would be really funny if they had him at the diner, and ideally he would be an actual adult person who was like referencing a past of stripping in a diner that is not meant for that. It would be funny if he was an adult person at the time that he was a stripper. Not quite so funny now that I'm thinking about it, but
So yes, because he was a child stripper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that Roller Coaster Tycoon, the original game, is on any sort of
No.
whatchamacallit
Console.
console. They have console ports for like newer versions of the game. Okay.
There's Parkitect is on that. That's what I played during the pandemic.
Oh, fun. I've never played that one. I'll have to try it out.
Yeah. It very
Love
much would
sim
overwhelm
games.
my computer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then, so they're like, Blaine's like, you need to get out. Like, I won't have you be upset. and like when you're full, like staying inside and scared when you're in a city full of opportunity. Because Sam doesn't like the city. It's not for him.
Valid.
Respect. Yeah.
Totally valid.
Yeah.
Also, isn't this a conversation where he's like, I'm not getting in auditions because everyone thinks I look like a dirty hippie, tells me to cut my hair. And Blaine's like, maybe you should cut your hair. He's like, no. And I'm like, Blaine kind of has a point. Like, you're in an industry where like it matters so much what people think of your looks. And
I mean, we've hated his hair since the moment that we found out it was long. So
yeah,
I think
I love how you phrased that. Not since it was the episode where it was first long, since we found out it was long.
Since we were informed via the show, the visual medium of the show.
Well, he gets sandied in Greece, you know. He does end up cutting his hair to conform, even though he says that he likes his hair. And shouldn't we listen to who we are and what we want to do? And they're like, no.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe the reason, one, the actress probably like, I don't want to have long hair anymore. Or it was the show was like, we don't want you to have long hair anymore. Either one. And then also the show was like, turns out everyone celebrated when they thought they saw the last of Shu. So we should probably just like disregard any advice from Shu. And by doing that, we will do this plot line. Completely undervalue anything the man has ever said to these children.
I was surprised they did the actual haircutting scene.
Unnecessary. I'm sorry, but I don't need this in my life.
We spent a lot of time watching Sam get his hair cut. And I'm pretty sure it was like real.
I will argue that this is probably the best cinematography in the episode. It was all backlit, beautiful shots of the shears and the hair. It was really nice. And I wish the same amount of thought and care that went into that scene went into some of maybe the dance sequences.
Or just the story.
I would say that
it was pleasing to watch, like aesthetically pleasing.
You know what they could have been singing at the same time? Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes.
You know, I was just suggesting a couple songs that they could sing. They could sing "Hey There, Delilah."
Oh God,
by
no!
the
I
Plain
hate
White
that song.
Tees, who are on iCarly.
That song is awful.
But it's Delilah haircutting. They could sing Hallelujah from the Shrek movie, haircutting.
Obviously.
Don't know who sings it, but I do know it's in Shrek. And then
I think it was in other things before that. I think it was a song all by itself before that.
No, and actually, I do think statistically it like blew up after being in Shrek. Yeah.
100%. I mean, so did everyone's love of donkeys and ogres.
And then, true. Or they could have sang Samson by Regina Spektor. Deep cut. Yeah.
Deep cut, but I think that one makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Hey there, Delilah.
Which just, if it makes sense, it wouldn't
I guess
fit.
Hey there, Delilah kind of
There's no room for that kind of thinking.
Yeah, because so Blaine takes, before they get to the haircut, Blaine takes Sam outside. They go to Times Square and they're just singing, "This is going to be the best day of my life." I did see that band in concert once.
I don't understand why this is going to be the best day of his life, because Blaine isn't doing anything to actually help him. He's just like, let's go outside and enjoy the city.
They don't even like go for a run in the park, which I mean, Sam was already doing. It's not even like, I mean, they're too young. It's not like they're like at a bar having fun. It's not like they're like going to do something. They just go to Times Square and join a dance team.
Well, in a drum circle.
Which I have questions about, because this dance team had all branded shirts. It was like the East City crew, and I looked them up, and they were a dance crew in East Bushwick. So I'm assuming this is like a real dance crew that they made a collaboration with for this episode.
Right.
And they shot that whole dance sequence so horribly.
Yeah.
Because there's like the guy in the middle doing the dance, and he's doing his thing. And then the camera is on like Sam doing nothing but like bobbing his head like a chicken, and this guy, you see half of his body like doing an amazing twirl.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was not great.
Yeah. Where was the blocking for this?
Yeah.
They're like, we have an hour in this section of Times Square. We gotta really go fast.
Go.
Yeah. This is the fastest Times Square number since Catherine McPhee and Megan Hilty doing that Rihanna song in Smash.
Oh, triggered.
So Sam is like, why is it called Times Square if there aren't any clocks? He sees himself.
Okay.
He sees himself. His
Yeah.
models.
It's like a dream sequence.
Yeah. So like,
it's not clear. I wasn't sure if he had ads before because I haven't seen the whole run of the show. I was like, are those actually? Is that actually him? He said he hasn't booked anything, and I was like, oh, is it just him imagining? And I don't know.
It's
like they didn't
everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
Go see the movie in theaters. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it is. Again, Glee is like, we're not deciding if this is diegetic or not. But then Blaine is like, you just danced, like you just performed in the middle of Times Square. You can do anything. I'm like, so that was diegetic. Like that was happening. But does that mean that people were dancing on the subway with Rachel and Artie?
Don't ask too many questions.
Oh no!
Whoa, you might blow this whole thing up.
What? Plot and diegetic holes? What? No.
And like, I feel like within the high school, like of the three of us, I was the least of a stickler about the blurriness. But I feel like in the high school, it made a little more sense. But now we're in these real world situations.
Yeah.
And I think it just makes it even more obvious that they don't know how to do these numbers. Like, so that Blaine's just like, yeah, you can do anything. He does ride Sam, like piggyback ride him at one point.
Yeah, that was, I'm glad you specified. I was like, what are we talking about? I missed that.
In the Gleeboot. And then, so then Sam just decides he's going to get his haircut. And so he goes, he's like, I need a change or whatever.
He brings in a magazine with Brad Pitt's face on it, but I'm pretty sure it was Brad Pitt in like 2004.
Yeah.
So very timely.
Well, they couldn't do Brad Pitt at the moment because I'm pretty sure in the
he had long hair.
He had long hair.
Oh, interesting. What year was this? Like 2014, maybe? 2013?
Yeah, 2013. I think it might have been shot.
They could have sang Ireland from the Legally Blonde musical, where the number one reason behind all bad hair decisions is love. So it's hard to be the only theater kid on a Glee podcast.
Cullen, can I just say, we went to Legally Blonde at BU, right?
Together, yes.
I don't remember a single thing about that musical.
Because I literally remember.
Did
afterwards,
I actually? Was I there?
I remember being like, "Oh, what did you think?" And like basically getting like a non-answer. Like
I literally I remember sitting there. I remember seeing people on the stage, and then it's just blackness. I don't remember. It's just complete darkness. Nothing's there. Was I well? Did I seem sick?
I mean, we were in grad school, so we were not well.
The fact that you have an expectation that a memory should be there is astounding to me.
Well, because like I love musicals. Like I do. And I love seeing them live.
I know I've seen musicals before.
I remember distinct parts of like Newsies and Book of Mormon that I saw live. Like I remember like a lot, but I don't remember.
I can relate. I just saw Hadestown on Saturday and already it's a blur.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I kept the playbill so I can like read it because I usually like to read it in between things, and I didn't get a chance. So hopefully that'll like bring me back up to speed with what had happened. But I do remember. I thought that it was a lovely time.
Also, you're 100% right. 2013 World War Z was around. Brad Pitt, long hair, nailed it.
Never forget a Brad Pitt hair moment. It's important.
So Sam gets a haircut. I mean, he does look a lot better with the haircut. So then he like apparently goes to the modeling agency and just like he's like, they took new shots and I did the thing and I got a job.
Got bubble butt
Men's underwear. Yeah.
Someone in this group goes to New York and gets the job they want.
I could have never predicted. Yeah, instantly.
Yeah.
All it took was a haircut. There was nothing else wrong. It was just the hair.
No hustle, no tears, just
no.
Nobody wants to work anymore.
good intentions.
Okay, Kim.
Nobody wants to work anymore, yet I will wear Marilyn Monroe's dress to the Met Gala.
Her hair is platinum again, right?
I don't know.
I saw that. I saw the dress. I keep seeing her and Pete Davidson together, and I'm like, I could not care less.
Yeah, I just love the meme that was like Britney Spears doesn't know who Pete Davidson is, and someone replied, "She's so lucky. She's a star."
Yeah.
So okay, brief Marilyn Monroe sidebar. Everyone talks about her affair with JFK. They're like really only ever interacted twice. Yet there was a gay man that was in love with JFK. They went to school together, and JFK moved him into the White House with them. And this would regularly receive oral sex from this man. When he couldn't get laid by a woman, he had this man around, and Jackie did not like it, but he was there living in the White House, and he like crossed paths with Marilyn Monroe. Like I think the only certain time is when she sang him happy birthday, but I think there may be one other time, but like there's like very little evidence that they ever had an affair.
Listen, I saw Smash. Like I know it happened.
So like, I just want to say that. I just want to point that out. Especially because
I need to learn everything about this situation. Not right now. I can look it up on my own.
Yeah. Especially because it is May, which the song The Lusty Months of May is from Camelot, JFK's favorite musical, which may not have been his favorite musical, but Jackie framed it as his favorite musical. And that's how it's remembered. Yeah.
Lots of fun facts.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Suki. She's coming out of hiding.
Yep.
So she's like, I like Camelot. I don't think the script needs to be rewritten by Aaron Sorkin. So that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, Suki, not an Aaron Sorkin fan. Did not pay for his masterclass.
So, okay, so Sam is like, I'm going to move into this model house. I wish, okay, in a funnier show, he would have basically gone on an America's Next Top Model and he could have been eliminated in some hilarious way.
And Tyra Banks could be back and make like a reference to the show.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, the model who runs that, like Tyra Banks, she's crazy or something like that. That would have been great.
They could have done like, you know how they always make that one girl get a haircut like every season. That was like a thing. So like he gets the haircut, goes on the show, and they're like, you need a haircut. He's like, I just got a haircut.
Like, we're gonna shave your head, but make sure we put divots in it so you have scars, because that's gonna make you look cool.
We were rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
And then she could pretend to faint. Great.
Gleeboot. Or it could be funny if he went on that type of show, but like it wasn't like legit and he lost. He was like the first person eliminated, and like he's recovering from that. That could be kind of funny.
So he's brought into this model house by Reggie from Riverdale.
Yeah, that guy. I saw him. I was like, hey, it's that Chris. I don't know his last name, and he's on Riverdale. I literally wrote that in my notes.
I'm not sure if his first name was Chris.
I thought it was.
You know, I really wish they gave us Sam in the bubble underwear, but they didn't.
I'm surprised they didn't, because he's worn stuff like that before.
I think it would have just been too funny. It would have just been too funny. Especially
if the contouring was very
exaggerated.
Yeah. Which I do think
Charles. It was another CH name. I was close.
Charles Melton. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think people have worn, I know bustles were a thing, and I'm sure men had bustles in like Versailles or something. So bubble butt underwear, deep history there. So he's with his roommate is Sam from iCarly. No, is another woman named Sam. And he's like, oh, this is amazing. But then all she's talking about is all the drugs she's on.
Which was a lot.
It was a lot of drugs, and like she's like, oh, this will help you like not gain any water weight. It felt very PSA out of nowhere.
Yeah, because he's like, oh no, I can't do this. I actually thought they were gonna like go into it and be like, this is the price he feels like he has to pay to get into the world. And then it was gonna be like he was gonna go through that and have like experience. No, he wasn't having any experience.
A season arc? What?
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, I mean, we've got a couple episodes left. We can squeeze it in. No, we can't.
You want drama? Get out.
You want drama, you want comedy.
Oh, are you releasing me from the podcast? Okay, bye. Leave meeting.
So Sam just goes back and he's like, well, I don't have an apartment anymore. And then this is what Kurt and Blaine are announcing they're not living together, which we'll get to in their storyline. Then Mercedes just shows up and is like, I'm here. They realized the entire cast was suddenly white and they brought me back on.
Yet again, they don't lock their door. She just busts it open. I'm like, you guys, home
you bust
security.
Your windows through your car. So she arrives and she's like, yeah, I got this great place. It literally looks like it's on Sesame Street. They're like it's this beautiful like entrance. And so like they're helping her move in. Rachel is like busy on her phone while they're moving the couch.
And she conveniently has to leave when they're like, hey, will you like do something? Sorry, gotta go.
And then she's like, taxi.
Yeah.
And Blaine's like, I love her style. And then so they're helping. Sam and Mercedes are setting something up. Sam
and IKEA shelf. Kudos. I have that exact same IKEA shelf. I'm sorry. That was the most realistic part of all of these like teenagers living in beautiful apartments is at least they still had IKEA. The like orange mugs they drank from IKEA. I saw some IKEA sheets, realism. It's only there. It's only there.
Some PA was like, I'm going to do my fucking best to make this realistic. I'm going to IKEA. They couldn't find parking in Beverly Hills, so they just went to the Burbank IKEA. So Sam and Mercedes are talking, and he's like, what about our like sexual like charisma, like our sexual chemistry? Because I don't think they've ever officially dated, but they've been like an almost couple for a while.
Didn't they actually date though?
I watched like 50 minutes of season recaps on YouTube today.
Oh, nice.
According to the season recaps, they dated.
Because they dated and then they were like secretly dating and then they just weren't. Then Disco Inferno happened. He helped her get famous.
Yeah. And so she's like, no, we're not going there. And then he tries to kiss her. And then she's like, no.
I will bite your wax lips
to the
off.
face. Yes. And then just like hand to the face. It was great.
I have vague memories of like maybe in season 2 or 3, someone called him fish lips, and I lost my shit laughing, and I've never forgotten that.
Yep, Trouty mouth. Yep.
There was a song about it. Santana.
I think there was,
Trouty mouth. I don't remember the.
Definitely a running joke.
Okay,
melody.
It makes sense why I never forgotten.
Never forget.
And then, so they decide not to date, but she's like, I have a spare room. I'm thinking of renting to a couple of nerds I knew in high school. And Sam's like, oh, really? Because like me and Blaine are looking for a place. And she's like, okay, I meant you. And apparently, so her producers are letting her move to New York to work on her album because she needed a uptown Harlem bebop kind of vibe, and she doesn't know what that means, but they bought it, and she's there because she wants to be close to her friends.
People who have not really been kind to her ever. So
Is she paying for the apartment by herself, or are the producers paying for that? Are they like footing the bill for this?
Maybe it's part of her like album contract. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It feels like a plot line from like Arrested Development when Maybe is pretending to be a producer and like succeeding at it. Like the way Mercedes is like, oh yeah, I convinced them that I needed this for my album and they bought it. It's kind of what it reminded me of.
Oh my gosh.
I remember when I was an intern, not when I was interning at the company where me and Gabi worked, but I was interning at a different company, and someone came in like to meet the executive, and I like came to greet them and ask if they wanted water or anything. They're like, "Oh, are you like whatever his name is?" And I was like, "Oh no," but I was like, I should have said yes. Just like, come into my office. Take it till you make it. I could have been an exec by now.
Yeah.
So that's really that storyline. I guess the meat and potatoes, if there are any of this episode, is Blurt.
Yeah, because nothing else happened. These other storylines are very,
extremely contained.
Yeah. The Sam
yeah, that's
one,
a good word for it.
The Sam one is really to just establish where he's going to be. The Artie one is like the C storyline, like we need filler.
Yeah, like we're gonna make Rachel a diva again, even though she did this 4 weeks ago, and also throughout her entire life on the show. She was doing the exact same thing to Blaine that she did to Kurt. That was like, oh yeah, like I kind of need some tea. And he was like, yeah, I'll get it for you. And I'm just like, why are you doing this to your friends? Have you no self-respect?
I mean, I did have an opera singer friend in college, and like
They were
Did you make them tea?
Cullen, are you just that nice?
I didn't have access to tea. I was in a dorm.
It's such a commodity.
Just the energy of like my voice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Blurt. They are living together. They are sleeping in the oldest old man pajamas.
Oh my God. Blaine literally woke up with penny loafers on and hair gel in his hair.
And hair gel in his hair. I'm like,
just like women waking up with makeup, Blaine wakes up with hair gel in his hair.
Chris Colfer's hair was like a meter off of his head. It was like so much product in it. And it's like he just woke up. And he's like, no, you have to be in bed for me to serve you breakfast in bed. I was like, who's buying that these two gentlemen who are extremely well groomed just woke up?
Yeah. I mean, this is like how I look today, and it looks like I just woke up. So.
Yeah, and
visual medium for the listeners.
Visual medium. I just feel like whoever costumed this has not met a gay man before.
Wait, you don't wear matching pajama pants and top like an old man? Like only some like rich old men?
Yeah. Like I dress like a Newsies villain. And yeah, so he's like, yeah, I'm making the lemon blueberry pancakes, and they're like, oh, are we like an old couple? Sam at one point does say like, I don't usually take fashion advice from bow tie wearing, helmet hair Blaine. And I'm like, okay, good point, because season 2 Blaine had good hair and they've just ruined it. So anyway, so they're like, they sing "You Make Me Feel So Young,"
which is probably one of the songs that is like most old people like.
Yes.
So it didn't really help.
Yeah, like you really shouldn't need someone to make you feel young when you're 18.
Yeah,
you literally are young.
Like they're like some of the youngest people they can be in a relationship. I mean, also I do have to say, throughout my notes, I think I have written like 4 times another song for no reason. So this is one of them. I think it's one of the first.
Yeah. The relationship storyline in this isn't even about them feeling like they've lost any kind of youth or sparkle or any kind of like flame that they used to have that revolves around youth. It's none of those things, but they needed one line to make that song fit. And so they did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on here. There's no conflict. It's literally just, oh, you're making me breakfast. You don't have to do this. Like, it's kind of an intro to what's going on, but like, I didn't take it like that until all of a sudden Blaine or Kurt was like, oh, he's being like really clingy. I was like, oh, I thought that was just them being lovey-dovey because Blaine is a love bot and I'm really annoyed by this.
And his like
he's
literally
about how,
his,
he's like, oh,
his
I walked you
boxers
to
and
class.
tank top were like literally what my grandpa wore like as a kid. I was like, who dressed these men?
Your grandpa.
my grandma as a costume designer on Glee.
I mean, that whole beginning of that storyline was very confusing because you did have these three different points. You had the point of they're feeling like they're becoming like an old married couple. They have the point about Sam is in their way, so they're feeling like crowded. We have to get this guy out of here because we don't have enough time for ourselves. But then the actual story is that no, you are crowding me. We need our own personal time.
That's what it was, because I thought their issue was going to be they were going to be fighting over whether or not Sam should stay, which would be an interesting conflict of its own. Like, Blaine is super close and Kurt's not as close with him. And, you know, they're doing this as like a temporary solution to help him. But yeah, like it's stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
both too much and too little.
And really, I feel like the big argument ends up being about design and like
Differences in design. I'm like, okay.
So that's four problems. So it's the three that I mentioned. And then the fourth one, which is like, wait, you can't do that in my apartment. No, it's supposed to be our apartment. This is four different problems that they put into this one storyline that don't totally go together.
No.
So Kurt is he's in a mime class. Which, you know, I'll give them that.
It's a master class.
It's a master.
It's not even
I think it's throughout the semester Kurt has learned about mime.
Yeah, wait. So he says it's a master class, but then he's like, oh no, actually, like, this is like a class, because Blaine's like, turns out I'm in 5 of 6 classes or 6 of 8 classes or whatever it was.
6 out of your 8 classes.
In one semester? That feels like a lot.
No, so arts, like, because my roommate was a music education major in college. He always had a ton of classes. Right. That's how they do it. Yeah.
Is it because it's like some classes are like
they are
less
not
intensive?
They're not worth credits, but honestly, like, it's not like sometimes they had the work of a 4-credit class while only being worth 1 credit.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But okay, I guess I understand now.
Yeah. So, that's suffocating. Like, when we had to take all our classes together.
Yeah, I once looked at Cullen and I was like, are we old? Are we an old married couple?
And then I was like,
no,
you make me feel so young. No, our real conversations were like, Queen Kelly, oh my God. Or when it's like, I can't believe that person asked if Ashley was Hispanic.
Yeah. So there's too much and too little going on in the storyline somehow.
Yeah, but like, okay, Blaine setting up so he's taking 6 out of the 8 classes. That is insane. That is weird.
Also, they're in different years. They're a semester behind. I would think like a program like that is very regimented. Like, everyone takes these classes in this semester, kind of like what we did.
Yeah. And I feel like Carmen Thibodeau, played by Whoopi Goldberg, is just so
not featured, but mentioned.
Is just beaten down by these Glee Club kids. She's like, okay, whatever. Just please leave me alone. Yeah, she's like, I should have never let Rachel in. This is all her fault. Like, just don't bring Tina and have her tell me to do what Rachel wants. Just do it, Blaine. So yeah, so it's like, and then they're in a box together. They're like miming being trapped in a box.
Yeah.
You know what? This could have been a lot of gay men have a fear of commitment, and that could have been a great storyline. But at the same time, Kurt and Blaine have never really been out and not dating each other. Like Kurt had that thing with Adam, but it's not like Kurt was going around. Like the grinder scene in New York gotta be insane.
Oh God.
Yeah, so like I don't know. So
can we see Blaine tempted by more lighthouses?
Yes.
It's in the movie.
He drives to Cape Cod.
Yeah, he goes to Maine. He's like, I gotta have lighthouses. He falls in love with a person dressed as a lighthouse at one of these conventions. Yeah.
So they're whatever, they're going through their thing, and then Kurt talks about it. I literally forgot the scene until just now. He talks about it with Elliott. Because I remember thinking
is a saint dealing with all of Kurt's craziness when they first met, and then dealing with Rachel inviting herself to move in, dealing with both Kurt and Blaine venting. I mean, this adult man, I'm presuming that he's like in his 20s because he lives alone in a cool apartment. He just needs to get away from these children. Anyway, we haven't even talked about the craziness.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, okay, so Demi Lovato definitely gone. We're not seeing them again.
But there's still a band.
But yeah, is Demi Lovato still in the band? And then I was like, are we going to see Adam Lambert again? Like, is he gone? I was like, so I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, he's still a character. And then he was like, you know, at first I heard you were engaged, and I was like, you're too young. But, you know, like you guys really love each other. Like you can make it work. You just need to set up healthy boundaries.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's the character being the mouthpiece for the show. Everyone's being like, no, it's okay. Kurt and Blaine are fine. Like they're perfect together from day one. Everyone knows it. And I'm like, not buying it.
But Elliott is just the epitome of like a balanced person, like emotionally stable.
That's because that is the best advice anyone's probably ever given on this show is have boundaries.
Yeah, it's literally like, I judged you at first, but you know what? You guys are cute, but you know, have some boundaries. It's a great answer.
Yeah.
He's like, and then don't neglect your band. I have a song we could sing.
Randomly for no reason. Another song?
I know the song was Born to Be a Rock Star, right? But my brain just keeps playing the Nickelback Rock Star song.
We all just want to be cool rock stars. I don't know how it goes.
And
look at this graph.
I would like to point
I want to
out,
listen to Nickelback.
Yes.
I would like to point out that again, they set up some drama and then they immediately diffuse it.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
with a song.
Blaine showing up to Elliott's house is a bold move, especially because he says, like, I don't have a phone number for you. We're not friends on Facebook on purpose because I was waiting for you to friend me. Like, he just shows up to his house to accuse him of trying to steal his fiance. And then, like, in a very wise and sage conversation, he calms him down in the same scene. Why would the writers introduce like all this tension and like actual, you know, story and drama and then immediately diffuse it? It's like, they're like, don't be uncomfortable for a single second.
This is a filler episode.
Yeah, it's a reboot and a filler. Yeah. And they don't. Yeah, you're right. Like that could have gone because they're pulling from when Becky showed Blaine the picture of Adam Lambert kissing Kurt on the cheek, and she was like, oh, and Blaine was like, okay, that doesn't matter. So to create jealousy further down the line.
Does he even talk about that picture?
He does.
Okay.
Like the cinnamon roll picture. So that could have been like, oh, we planted this conflict. We'll pay it off. It doesn't even have to be a season arc. It can be a few episodes. Mm-hmm. But like, they're just like, no, just
washed.
Yeah. Gay men don't have drama. So because Blaine just before Blaine shows up at Elliott's, Blaine is trying to set up. Well, first, I keep forgetting things. So first, Blaine brings avocado green couch into the apartment that ends up being infested with bed bugs.
Yes, because Kurt brings this up with Elliott.
Has anyone ever had bed bugs
yellow.
before?
It's yellow.
Green.
It's yellow.
I vote mustard yellow.
Yes.
I didn't see it.
It's yellow. It's a what do you say, like a mid-century piece. I thought I could make it work. Then he pulls up the thing and there's bed bugs.
Again, the cardinal rule of street thrifting.
No, upholstery.
Nothing fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just don't do it. Also, why wouldn't, okay, maybe I was going to be like, why wouldn't he just check? But like, he's also 18 and lived in Ohio in like his own house. He never lived in like apartments, never had to worry about that kind of stuff before, probably. That's so true. Never mind.
I just learned this upholstery rule. It's very handy. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they even say that like taking stuff that's even just like wood isn't always great either. You just got to really check it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a wood, and I didn't honestly really check it, to be honest, but I've had a couple wood dressers that I got off the street for like years now.
Well, the wood thing is a big one though, because I have actually had bed bugs in an apartment before. Not a fun experience. Mm-hmm. And the reason I found out about them, well, I saw them crawling on me at night, which was crazy, but they were living in my wood bed frame. And not just in my bed frame, but like in the apartment. But that's where we found them first. So the wood thing is real. They do get in the wood.
I did not know that. We just got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to pick up something, like leave it outside, like in your garage or like on the sidewalk or whatever, and clean it off first, or in your yard. Let it sit and then bring it in.
To be honest, I do think I remember like the people were literally bringing it onto the street when I grabbed it. So I guess they weren't sitting outside.
If you're looking for like furniture to repurpose, you just in general, like you would maybe be able to take something and repaint it, right? But be wary, anything with like a huge spray painted X on it, that is a sign that it has bed bugs, and you do not want to take that and repurpose it. So, PSA.
I always thought the spray painted X meant that Hexus from Ferngully is in it.
Yes.
No.
I mean, is there a difference? Bed bugs.
Hexus from Ferngully. Same thing.
And a good way to prevent people from taking furniture that has bed bugs is to literally destroy it. So like cut it up with knives.
Cast it into the fire.
Burn it. Like, I'm not joking. Make it something that nobody wants.
Make a road trip of 9 people. Go on a journey around the world to a volcano.
Do you know my roller derby name?
I've seen it. I've seen it on Instagram. I don't remember what it is. I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm Gandalf the Cray. I appreciate any and all Lord of the Rings references.
Yeah. So they had to spend all night defuming it or whatever. And so Kurt's tired. Adam Lambert gives him the advice, and then so then Blaine is trying to make up for it, so he's setting up a workspace, which isn't a crazy idea considering 3 out of the 3 people in this apartment allegedly, I guess, were not. I know Rachel's still technically a student because that will come up later, but like they're all students. Like every dorm I ever lived in had a desk.
Yeah.
And that's like the number one thing I in my new place, I have a desk, and that was like my one request. I'm like, Rafa, you can decorate, do whatever you want. I want a desk.
Do they just not do like writing assignments? Like,
could be.
I mean, even like performing art school, you have to take like the history of music theory, like history of opera, like history of acting,
using
like
your laptop and possibly writing essays or whatever. And
Gen
X. When I was in college, I never used my desk. Not once.
Oh, I mean, I definitely didn't. But
I always was on my bed.
You would think that like the parents would be like,
desk.
"Oh, you're gonna need a desk. You're going to college," you know?
They don't have parents.
That's actually gonna be a funny
Rachel's
joke.
parents were paying for the apartment for a while.
Yeah, there's going to be a funny joke about when we finally meet Blaine's parents after seasons and seasons of him being on the show, how it's explained is very funny because he basically has existed as a character without parents. Like, he references them occasionally, but like, yeah. Basically, Blaine's mother is seen introducing herself to someone that by all rights, she should know at this point.
Oh, I think I may know who. That's interesting.
Kurt's dad.
Pretty close. So Blaine's like, yeah, setting up a workspace. And Kurt's like, no one wants to see a workspace when they come into an apartment.
Well, okay. So I thought it was a good idea, like when he was taping everything out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when he actually set the furniture up, I was like, oh no, bad choice.
Yeah.
Bad choice. So I can see I would not have been happy if someone set that up also, like, without talking to me.
Yeah. I think it's with the no communication is the
Yeah.
Also, does that mean he had to go to IKEA? Okay, so he brought all this furniture from somewhere and then set it up, and he brought it all by himself. Also, he had the money to pay for it. Does he have a job?
He's
I'm melting down.
around all day.
No.
Melting down.
Yeah, because they do mention that they never even talked about it. They just had Blaine move in. I'm like, why didn't he just like live in the dorms?
Yeah, Rachel did that for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember? That's how she met Brody. Do you remember Brody? That was a character on the show.
Because
Was
like
in the door?
she was for like less than an episode. Don't feel
Yeah,
that bad
yeah,
about not
yeah. It
remembering
was
it.
no. But that's how she met him, because that's where we are introduced. Like, they both have very intense skin routines, and she has a shared bathroom, remember, with everyone on the floor, and she has to go at like 3 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember.
Because I feel
Yet
like
I don't remember seeing Legally Blonde the musical.
Yeah.
Not there.
I feel like Blaine would do well in a dorm. Kurt would have some space. Blaine would make friends and then want to take classes with them instead of just Kurt.
Yes. He would become his own person and not just be a love bot.
Yeah. So
I have a feeling that that's not going to have any impact on their relationship. They're going to spend all their time together. They're just not going to have dinner together every single night.
So this is what we're getting to. So they have this fight, Blaine talks about how they just have curtains and, they hear us, we hear them.
Kinky.
Yeah,
wanky, as Santana would say.
And then he's like, yeah, like the design choices, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, Kurt's like, I need space. Like, we just moved in too fast. Like, we still love each other. So they're talking. And, Kurt says he needs space. And that's when Blaine is like, who told you that? And he's like, Elliott. And then Blaine goes to Elliott. And he's like, I'm mad. I'm in a red pants and blue sweater. And I'm here to tell you not to take my fiance. Like, you want him. And then Elliott's like, I could do better. And then I'm Adam Lambert. He's like, calm down. I'm not trying to take it. Hold the guitar. It's like a body pillow. And then, because Blaine calls him a glitter rock vampire. There's also a great line where when Blaine is putting the tape on the ground and Sam is like, did somebody die in here? He's like,
yeah.
He's like, this in no way resembles a human body. And then Sam's just like, and then he's like, no one died here.
And Blaine calls him a glitter rock vampire or whatever. And then, so after Adam Lambert calms him down and is like, it's okay, like, you guys are meant to be together, just you need to talk or whatever. And he's like, they start like singing a glitter rock vampire song. At first I'm like, oh no, are they gonna sing a song?
Diffusing the tension with a song.
Honestly though, glitter rock vampire, like, compliment. Wasn't supposed to be, but definitely is.
Yeah, he was like, I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, he took it well.
He should separate from Kurt's band and have his own band called Glitter Rock Vampire.
Yeah.
And So Blaine and Kurt are talking about we just moved in too fast. We need space. So they decide that they're not going to live together anymore. This is where I need my financial and emotional compensation from Ryan Murphy. Because Blaine says we can't go backwards and Kurt says we're not going backwards. I mean, they are a little.
Yes, in the sense that like the traditional steps of like, this is what you do. But I think like in a weird way, it is also them moving forward. And I thought they were going to say like, we're not moving backward, we're moving sideways. Kind of like we're taking a new path to get to where we want to be. That would have been a better line. Just going to say it. Hire me for the Gleeboot, guys. It's just. Yeah.
But here's the simple solution. So what's suffocating is the fact that Kurt walks to school every day with Blaine. He has 6 out of his 8 classes with Blaine. He eats dinner with Blaine. If that is not the case, and you are just seeing your partner in the morning and at night, which is what most people, when people talk about, our parents have been married for 40 years, whatever, they were not sitting next to each other for 40 years. They were doing their own thing and seeing each other in the morning and at night and on weekends.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like he could have just been like, I think you should go back to Carmen Thibodeau, played by Whoopi Goldberg, who is not present but mentioned, and say, hey, I want to change my classes and do things at the pace of my other, my cohort or whatever. And, we can go to school together if we have a class at the same time or, not do that.
Yeah.
Just like have independent lives.
Yeah.
Rather than finding a whole new apartment, which is hell itself. Thank you.
I mean, not if you have a Mercedes to sweep in and save the day.
Yeah. I was literally about to like have a panic attack for them, being like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine how competitive the market is. And like, they're just babies. They don't have any renters history. They don't have any credit history. How are they going to get an apartment? Also, how did Kurt and Rachel get that apartment with no credit history, no renters history?
Because their parents were paying for it.
Yeah, Rachel's death definitely co-signed.
And she's like proof of income. Yeah. Like I was like, you guys are gonna go through that. But they're like, okay, well, we have to get Mercedes and somehow, oh, that's right. They need a place to live. Perfect. This works out.
Yeah, it's just like they could have, because honestly, even if you're not living with somebody, but you still have 6 out of your 8 classes with them, I'd feel suffocated by them. I would.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like when I think of like my friends in college, I'd have certain ones I'd eat dinner with, certain ones like on this day I eat lunch with these people. Like, so I didn't see the same.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't see the same people every day. And some of my friend groups did the thing where they only hung out with each other and then they would always end up with drama. And I could be like, peace while you have that drama. I'm going to hang out with my other friends. And then,
I was like the exact opposite of what you did. I had a group of there were 4 of us and we had all the same classes, and by junior year we were all living together and there was drama, but they are all still my best friends today. So
yeah,
it worked out.
Proud of you.
Cannot be me.
But I mean, on the flip side of that, I really only had the energy to make 4 friends in college. So Cullen comes away with like 25.
Also works like 5 jobs. Excellent student. Cullen, I strive to be you.
I'll make that the social media for the weekend. Cullen, I strive to be you. Strive to be you when you were 19.
Are we old, guys?
Affirmative.
Yeah, I just realized I'm the same age as Julia Roberts' character in my best friend's wedding. I
want to hear that.
That movie came up. I looked up the plot synopsis because I only know the Jell-O scene. And then I was like, she's a 27-year-old food critic. A, the jobs people have in rom-coms. Wild.
Yeah.
B, 27, but she was only 30 at the time, so it's not even that weird. So, okay.
Guess what?
What?
This has nothing to do with anything. In my new
Love it.
apartment, I'm going to be the youngest person. It's been a really long time since I've been the youngest person. I'm kind of excited.
That's exciting.
Yes, thank you.
You're going to be the baby.
Yeah.
Baby. I know I'm usually the baby, except Rafa's younger than me. So sometimes he'll be like, oh, my older guy. We're 2 years apart. Yeah. He's like, I'm dating an older guy, you know? So, okay. Is that really, that's the end of it? They just tell everyone they have dinner and they tell everyone, do they sing?
Yes.
Rachel has one more song.
Oh, People. She sings
God.
People.
If you didn't remember, it's because it doesn't fit. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
This, again, it's just because it's in Funny Girl. And as Katie said, Leah Michelle should be arrested.
Yeah, she's singing it and they're having like a potluck dinner.
It's just like Friends. Isn't it?
Friends are her concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember this at all.
She's just like wearing black. I mean, you didn't see it.
I
You
did
just
not
heard
see it.
But she's
And
standing.
then she sings on the subway? No, while she's like walking in a crowd of people and stuff. It's
And most of the time you don't see her in the crowd of people.
I literally could not find her until the very last shot. I was like, what a pointless waste of film.
Like, is this just like New York B-roll? And I was like, oh no, there she is.
I literally thought the same thing. I was like, I was like, wow, have they really run out of the budget? They could use like Shutterstock B-roll. Oof.
They paid all the money for the sounds from Roller Coaster Tycoon.
It's all they could afford. They could not afford to shoot one more day on location.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of these LA or New York sets are in LA.
Oh yeah, like the I don't know,
the apartments.
Like Blaine and Blaine surprises Kurt at like a magazine stand or like a little coffee shop, and I was like, that's a backlot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we managed to talk about this episode, but yeah. We always do. We always say we have nothing to say, and then it's 2 hours later, and we're like,
Mine was just a lot of questions. Okay, who's living with who? Rachel's still living with Kurt. Is that confirmed?
It's just Rachel and Kurt in the loft.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. She's moving back in.
Blam 80s.
Wow.
Blam and Mercedes Blam 80s.
They're together.
Where is Artie?
I think he lives in the dorms.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I was like, is he just homeless? What's going on here?
Yeah.
In his film school. He's going to film school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So like in the very like first time we're seeing everyone together, it's Sam and Artie who get like left behind. And I thought, oh, they're roommates, because Artie's like, oh yeah, me and Sam will just like hang out here. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're friends. They hang out all the time. They're roommate. Nope.
They're just
a random choice.
Artie just knows that, okay, the Glee hierarchy, Rachel, Kurt, Blaine, me and Sam. He just knows.
Yet I'm still friends with these people for some reason. I could be talking to way more interesting people.
I'm in New York.
In film school.
Yeah, I'm in New York, yet I will still hang out with people I went to high school with. Which is always like, that was an interesting part of college, is when you'd be with your high school friends and you'd be like, wait, like things are different, things are changing. And then like the new freshman would be like, I'm going to bring my high school friends. And then they'd be like, wait, this is weird. And you're like, yep, it happens to all of us.
Yep.
So I guess it's Tina time. Tina
she was
wasn't
not
in this goddamn
here.
episode. How much better would it have been with Tina? They're like, Kurt and Blaine are fighting, and Tina's like eating like churro, and she's just like,
Guys.
she's like, Blaney days, I love your style. Kurt, you wore that half poncho that time when you told Santana it was okay to be gay. And I haven't forgiven you for it. Like,
I think you have Tina down. That is her exact character.
yeah.
Then she'd be like, Glee hates girls. And everybody be like, the Glee Club's over Tina. And she's like, I'm talking about the show. Fourth wall break, looks right into camera. That's Glee.
But like, really, it did feel like Glee hates girls because like there were all these women who are main characters and they're all gone.
Yeah, it's the Rachel Berry plus a bunch of men show.
And now Mercedes.
Oh, and Mercedes.
So I guess MVPs and LVPs. Gabby, who's your least valuable player?
My least valuable player is Rachel.
Good choice.
The reasoning behind it is her storyline affects nobody but herself. Well, I guess that's a lie. That's a lie. She does kind of help Artie a little bit, but it literally happened all in her head. Like while she's in the town car, she literally in a voiceover is like, "Am I a diva? Maybe I shouldn't be." It all happens in that one scene. So I think that was pretty weak storytelling.
Yeah. I just picked Blaine because of the bed bugs thing. That's all I have to offer. I don't want to give this episode any more energy.
I'm gonna pick the guy who stole Artie's bag.
Oh, valid. Yeah.
Yeah. For being a thief and a hoarder.
I feel like I'm on Judge Judy for being a thief and a hoarder. I'm going with Sam, not our boy Sam, Sam's roommate Sam, who has the audacity to not be Sam from like Carly, and to be weird with drugs.
Yeah, which they very much skirted around whether or not they were prescribed.
Yeah.
Be at some point to someone.
So yeah, going with her, I guess, or whoever gave Rachel the town car. Bad idea. Yeah. Maybe even Kurt. Kurt was kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with the girl Sam. Gabby, who's your favorite character?
This is gonna be very controversial because I've already chosen her, but she's also my most valuable player. Is Rachel.
I love this. Is this a first for Gleeboot?
I think I might have done it with Blaine before. I think
Maybe.
We
yeah.
really should have started keeping track like back in season 1. It would have been such a fun document to look back and see, but there's no way we're going back and listening to it.
Sorry, guys.
My reasoning being, even though she's the worst, it was the most. She had the funniest lines, and like I liked seeing that trope of a diva and like I can't, like, I don't know. I thought it was funny even though I've seen it 100 times. And to be honest, I want more. I want more extreme diva. I don't want her to learn her lesson in one car ride to herself.
No worries.
No, because she's learned this lesson 1,000 times and she keeps coming back.
Oh, well, if it keeps on giving, I want more then.
Glee does not believe in character growth, character arcs.
Keep her the same.
Yeah. I'm going with Elliott for putting up with everyone's shit.
Very, very, very good answer.
And this is not the first time that he's had to do this. Like, again, I will repeat, it's been the first time he met these people. And then every time since. I'm so sorry, Elliott. You don't deserve this. Also, I did refer to him as Adam Levine in my notes. That's how checked out of life I was during this episode.
When Blaine barges in, he's like, "You're not moving in here, are you?" Because that's what Rachel.
That was a great line. I forgot about that. That was great because he's like freaking out, and he's like, "Wait, that's not what's happening, right?"
I'm also going with Elliott. He is just like in general the most well-adjusted human being and like adult in the show at this point. So
also his apartment is huge and he can somehow afford it on his own. Like New York, everyone can afford it, right?
I feel like he has a secret backstory that we don't know about, and I really want to know.
Maybe he is a glitter rock.
Really want to know. I know. I'm like, is he a glitter rock actual vampire? And he's 1,000 years old and has like savings built up.
You want to see competition?
Is that why he's hanging out with people who are younger than him? It gives him life. The drama is what gives him life.
I love this idea.
Send it to the Glee Confessions page. I sent this Glee confession a confession. I'm checking every day to see if they post my confession.
Okay, keep checking. So if it happens, we got to report.
And at first, I'm like, I need to think of the wildest confession possible. And then I was like, no, I'm actually going to do a slightly realistic confession. Yeah, because I was like, I ship Quinn with her locker. No. So I think if you put this apple in front of me and you're like, pick an MVP, like my brain first is like, okay, Blaine, he's generally my favorite character. And then I'm like, yeah, he's weirdly clingy, like the 6 classes thing. Then I'm like, I guess Sam got a haircut.
MVP to Sam for getting a haircut.
But I think it's gonna be Mercedes for letting Blaine and Sam. I don't know if she's gonna charge them rent or if she's just gonna let them live in her place. But like, I just feel like she'll have to deal with a lot more smells than she would have had to otherwise. So like, good for her.
I mean, with New York in general, she's coming from LA. I think I can only imagine. I've never been there, but I can only imagine that New York smells a little stinkier.
Yeah.
than LA does.
And now I want to rewrite the Christian song I Can Only Imagine to be about the smell of New York. Surrounded by your stench, how will my nose feel? Which, the most cursed thing I ever heard was a cover of Ed Sheeran's Shape of You made to be a worship song.
Oh.
It's like, Lord, something I want your praise, or I don't know her, but I was like,
Cullen, you can't do this to me. It's 10:30. And that's not even that late, but like my brain.
So, okay, the music. We were sitting down, I'm like, I need to pull up the Glee Wiki because these songs are not sticking with me.
I've got a list.
Okay, do you want to do the list? Do you want to do the honors?
The songs were in order: Downtown, You Make Me Feel So Young, Best Day of My Life, Rockstar, Don't Sleep in the Subway, and People.
Snoozed, and no one moved, and no one flinched. Mm-hmm. Gabi, what was your least favorite?
Least favorite was Best Day of My Life. I don't generally like that song, and I thought it was horribly shot and blocked, and and there was no point. Like Hannah said, that it didn't make any sense. Like, he wasn't helping him do anything. I don't know.
Yeah,
all of it came together as I don't need this.
I think I may have missed one, but the worst songs, in my opinion, were Downtown, You Make Me Feel So Young, Best Day of My Life, Don't Sleep on the Subway, possibly another song, and People. Hated them all.
What a good answer. I would like to change mine.
I literally am like, I don't even have the energy to pick between them. They all are just bad.
That's the thing.
They don't fit in the episode at all. They're like, this is the shoehornedness to like the max.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing about I say early Glee, but even into season 4 is you can rely on, okay, at least the songs will be good. They won't always make sense. They won't always, but like, it'll be fun. Like, that's the highlight of the show. Like, that's why we're here.
They would be fun. There would be spectacle. Like, I remember when they did Umbrella, I was like, look how cool. There were fun mashups. There was a cappella. It was like things to look forward to. And I was just like, so confused to what Glee had become.
Nothing to look forward to.
It's really
except the end.
Yeah.
It's really a shell of itself. And my little sliver of hope is that I hear season 6 is very weird and bananas. Like they know it's the last season. They're just going to be weird. I'm looking forward to that because season 5 has been so milquetoast. It reeks of death. It reeks of loss. Like it's like not fun. Usually I'm like, usually I used to be like, can't wait to watch Glee this week. And I'm like, I guess I have to do that.
I still say that, but sarcastically.
What was your least favorite song?
It is a tie between 2, which is Don't Sleep on the Subway, which I really hated, like viscerally hated. And People, which I can't remember at all. So I don't know which is worse. So they're both up there.
The fact that they sang Don't Sleep on the Subway, but they never sang Lady Gaga's Judas. Why are so many crimes in this world?
Still stings.
Still stings. So yeah, I'm going with Don't Sleep on the Subway. Like, no one moved. Gabi, what's your favorite song?
See, now this is going to sound very controversial because my favorite sequence was Don't Sleep in the Subway. It was I feel like it was the only one where like there was a dance number that made somewhat sense. Like, I don't know, they were in the subway and the people around them were dancing and I was like, oh, this is a number. The way that the show used to have numbers versus like they're walking in Times Square or they're in a store and like or a montage of the city with downtown. So this one was, to me, was the most Glee from the Glee that I remember. It was a snooze fest, but I don't have any more explanations for it.
I mean, you didn't have much to work with. Well,
to be fair, I want to say, like, as a disclaimer, all of my opinions on the songs are based solely on audio. So
that makes it worse. So like they couldn't even win you over. Like the visuals weren't confusing you. You were literally like, no. Like that's worse. My favorite was Glitter Rock Vampire.
Rockstar or just or when Blaine
when Blaine was like Glitter Rock Vampire, biting people and stuff. I don't know what it was. Don't remember it. Don't know the melody. I just know that they were jamming out. There was no melody.
They were like 5 chords. The brevity also makes it one of the best.
Yes. I was like, every song in this episode should have been that length or shorter.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite song? Did you say?
I'm gonna go with Rockstar because Adam Lambert has the best set of vocals. And audio only, so definitely won my vote.
They were crowd surfing in that guitar store suddenly. I'm going with Downtown because like I guess I like that song and like it was like there was movement, kinetic energy. Shout out to the fact that because I grew up in Detroit, growing up, I thought downtown meant like a bad neighborhood.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Okay. That's it. We did the thing. We stayed awake. Gabi, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was a nice trip down memory lane. I really truly want to listen to acapella and drink a slushie now.
Oh, slushies. I remember those. They haven't talked about them in so long. You know what's weird is I'm having this, I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it's just like, wow, like the show, I didn't realize how good I had it.
I know. When we were in the early seasons, I'd be like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And you guys would be like, "Cullen, this sucks." I'd be like, "You don't know what's coming."
Yeah, I truly did not know what was coming, and I'm not apologizing for anything I said. I think I still stand exactly. I think I still stand by it, but I also am like, wow, like. Wow.
Gabi, are there any social medias you'd like to plug? Places where people could see your work or
I used to have a podcast, but no longer. So if you're interested in finding me or my work, best you can do is go to my Instagram. It's Goobiv. So Goobiv is Varley.
Goobiv?
Very
yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Goobiv.
I have friends that call me Gooby, so it's Gooby V technically. But yeah.
Gooby V. You can follow Gleeboot on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Have we had a TikTok
update?
update?
Account will give us access back to our account. We did not violate any community guidelines. They just decided to kick us off for no reason.
Maybe there's an inside job happening. Like
Ryan Murphy is.
Maybe. Guys. Anyway, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for the whatever we have still on there. We are at Gleeboot Pod, and you can also follow us on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com. Gleeboot Podcast. Why am I still messing this?
It's
Gleeboot Pod.
Yeah.
Tumblr.com.
You haven't messed up your own name yet. Like that happened.
You know what's funny is when, I go to a restaurant, typically just with my mom, and they're like, "Oh, what's the name for the reservation or whatever, the getting your seats?" I always say Rachel because of an inside joke my mom and I have. But no, my name is not Rachel. I was going to say, "Oh yeah, my name's Rachel," right? But that joke was funnier in my head. The whole thing. Guys, I'm drained. This episode, so bad.
This is for Rachel. You're being done with a bubblegum man.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen.
It's like a body roll of that.
You can follow me on Instagram at Cullen of Rafter. I'm making slight efforts to revitalize my Twitter and TikTok, but we'll see. I'll let you know. But the episode's finally out. I can't remember if I announced this, of my episode of Unhinged Fanfiction Crossovers. Me and Gabi's former coworker, Eliza, who is now TikTok famous, started this podcast.
Very funny person.
And she wrote a great Joe Biden, Joe Exotic fanfic, which you can hear. You can also hear my Joe Jonas, Joseph Gordon-Levitt fanfic, as well as a Joe Rogan and JoJo Siwa fanfic. So, yeah. Next week.
Suki.
What is next week? Oh, next week, someone throws something into the ocean. I think that's what happens. I won't tell you what.
Are they reenacting the Boston Tea Party?
If only, because then they could sing the theme music from PBS's Liberty's Kids.
Yes. Oh boy. All right. That's the show.
That's the show. Thank you for sticking with us, listeners. Bye.
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 Thank you, Gleeboot.
Gleeboot.